And with that, we should be going live. I'm a fucking hot mess, but hey guys, what's up? Alright, you need to come in Discord. And then we'll be totally Gucci. But okay, how you doing there, zombie group, today?
I mean, I'm a little grossed out by hearing your morning routine.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. It's super sexy.
Well, that's okay. I'm feeling pretty super sexy today, so.
Nice. So we both have no self-confidence issues.
Well,
where's the Olimoleague logo? There we
I'm
go.
sick, so.
Oh, hi, Sick. It's nice to
excuse.
meet you. I'm Graham.
Cracker?
No, that's really not okay to say to another human being.
It's really not okay to say to a friend.
Okay, so for those who don't know, what's up? We're coming at you shotgun style here with the Olimoleague. I'm not ready to go at all. Who do we have as blue? I gotta put them on the overlay here real quick.
It's Rogue.
Rogue. Oh shit, GuMiho versus Rogue is our first game of the day? This is so dope.
You rushed over so quickly, and I mean, it's a good thing, but...
I don't even know if I have like the bracket command set up or not. There we go. Here, I made Rogue's name all like super Asian lettery too. So, boom, fits on the overlay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Olimoleague. It's game number 1 in a best of 3. But if we're talking about sexy, then it might as well be a breast of 3. Because in the upper left, we've got the red Terran, GuMiho.
The bottom right, as the blue Zerg, he is Rogue.
Well, I would like to get delightful and blissfully happy about the middle mouse thing, but we all know it's not lasting. It's not real.
It's a trick. Sorry, man. I was gonna give you a slight bit of hope, and then they're gonna dash it away. I'm hearing myself in echo.
Okay, you should be good now. But I blame the government. Anyways, Rogue, quite the treat to have this early on. There's not a lot of Zerg players that... I'm just going to say this frankly. There's not a lot of Zerg players I think there's a lot of respect worth having for. There's a lot of mechanically good Zerg players and a lot of players who play the game really well. But Rogue is a guy I really think goes above and beyond because we see him try different strategies. He's ahead of the meta when it comes to Korea, and I think he's one of the best Zerg players over there. So I'm super delighted to see he's going up against my favorite Terran, GuMiho.
Wow, yeah, that's a pretty cool statement, but yeah, I do really like how Rogue is developing as a player, and he is certainly one that has interesting strategies. Proxy hatch to a swarm host, actually using swarm hosts, and just in general, which actually might be totally worth noting as it is GuMiho, and he might be playing mech in one of these games. This is not one of those games. He's in fact going for a really old school build at this point. I mean, it's not nearly as standard as it once was, and he is trying to hide it by putting that second barracks off to the left. So he really wants it to be a surprise at around 5 minutes and really pounce on Rogue, who might be expecting more of a Hellion opener or even a quick third CC. Those have been coming back into play.
Not to mention, GuMiho has just, in general, been laying out so much mech. I wouldn't be surprised if Rogue was here bracing for like Hellion Banshee, just blindly, because that's what it is a lot of the time.
Yeah, that could be a potential. Like, you know, starting to put on spore crawlers, that would actually only help so much against the 2-on-1 push. Maybe tiniest little bit. And, you know, it's still not being scouted at all. Like, Rogue has not gotten in there and seen what's happening. So he should be ruling out the Hellions, just because, you know, 2, 4, 6 Hellions have been showing themselves to the Overlord, at least stockpile themselves in the natural. But yeah, there's a potential that they are just staying in the natural, staying on the ramp, in fact. But these Marines should be a little suspicious. It's still like not enough to be totally sure it's 2-on-1 because the 2-on-1 has fallen out of favor. But generally, that's how you would tell. You send like one ling, and then it's just there's too many Marines to be anything else but a 2-on-1.
Well, either way, GuMiho having been playing mech for so long and all that is cool to see. It's also worth noting there was such a long period of time, especially in Legacy of the Void, where you just couldn't do it. And it's not like GuMiho ever was unable to play this style. And I'm really actually almost more excited for this. Like, where I get really excited to see mech come out of other Terran players, I'm like, sweet, GuMiho's doing something different too. Like, woo!
Weird. He is going for 2 engineering bays, just only one at the front, which is why it's off a little bit. But it is correctly done, executed. Rogue has technically not had full scouting, and I am still like worried he doesn't know exactly what it is. I think there are signs to tell him that's, you know, this timing is going to hit at 5 minutes, but you know, whether or not he's actually been like looking for those or paying attention is another question.
I think
really queens on the front line and lings, a handful of lings should be enough for the first attack.
Well, I was gonna say, I think it'd be fine because even if he wasn't fully aware of what this was, he still produced a lot of extra queens. He's on 8 queens right now. Pulling those to deal with the medevacs is not an issue. Then once the medevacs go down, the Marines are a lot easier to deal with.
He did need, as I said, a handful of lings to help out here, and now they come in. Maybe a little late to the party letting me in the mineral line like that, but, you know, looks like it's going to be significantly pushed back. Loses health, a lot of health in those medevacs, but does end up saving them, so maybe okay. A lot of times with the 2-on-1, it was less about doing damage and with the first attack that is, and more about just
the
pressuring so the next follow-up, yeah, whatever the follow-up would be a little more potent, but Rogue holds, no problem, goes back into droning. He is going to be a little behind on the 1-1.
Well, this is what I like about this, right? Excuse me. This goes back to like the Snoot style of queens, where you put a lot of investment in queens, and those are going to be pretty sustainable from here to the end of the game, especially if his end game ends up being Ultralisks, for example. So it's not like this is wasted money or supply, and he's going to have a lot of creep tumors to show for all the bonus queens later. But the best part about that for me is like he didn't overreact with the lings. Like, okay, he lost a couple of drones, and he definitely, you know, took some damage. Ooh, a little bit tight, but he didn't overmake the Zergling count. He didn't stop droning. Like, even if it's a surround here in the middle of the map, as units are unloading, this is the greatest engagement Rogue could have hoped for.
Wow, GuMiho took a long time to realize those were unloading into a ton of lings.
Yeah.
That was weird. That was a big mistake. It's like half of his power right there just cut away from him. He had 1-1, he had combat shields, and all of those Marines together in a clump against, you know, it still is no Banelings. Could have done a lot of damage, but now I think there's going to be a Queen's in position and too many lings. Although they are, funnily enough, like, they had to retreat, so they're not quite sure where the army was. I don't know, they were running towards the main base, kind of weird. It's not... they've been divvied up. One drop to the main, or, well, the main attack, I suppose. One drop to the third base. It's barely even a drop, it's 3 Marines.
It's a drop of the bucket is what it is.
Yeah, apparently.
There's a Reaper in this medevac too, by the way. I love it. Not gonna help too much, but 2 Spore Crawlers to keep this from getting too far in, not to mention his Queens, Macro Hatchery. Easy response time here for Rogue. And just to note again, to my little bit of fanboyism for Rogue, like, I love the way he's done this. Macro Hatcheries and the Spore Crawlers are set up exactly the way that I'd love to see this done. And, you know, the creep's not super out of hand. And he doesn't have a lot of map presence at the moment, but he's going to soon. Like, he's starting to hit that point where he's exploding. You know, he got to that almost 80 drone count. He doesn't need to make workers anymore. It's all army units here on out.
This has been a pretty good game for Rogue. The question was real.
The new Baneling, and I know they only changed the color, right? It looks like those, like, animal toys, though. The little spiky thing at the end. Like a chew toy for a dog.
Yeah, chew toy for a dog. We were talking about maybe like a stress toy. I think you just like...
Oh, those little balls or whatever, you'd like squeeze them, yeah.
Well, once again, Rogue just getting the better trade of this. Gets 9 SEVs in a run by, and then also defends his 4th base. So getting 2 mutas. The only thing he's really behind on is the 2-2, but this is by seconds now.
Well, for me, I mean, Rogue's had near perfect defenses for this game, and it really sucks because the build GuMiho does, like, this isn't super dependent on doing damage, but the fact that he's done nothing, well, next to nothing, excuse me, with it, does not bode well for him. He was gonna eat one of these Widow Mines, ouch.
It does seem to do damage around, like, the 3rd or 4th medevac. At least something, you know? Instead it was unloaded into lings, and that just really cuts the power, especially on a big map like Ascension at Ire, where you are just going across the middle, and it's a lot of time for a Zerg player to make banelings, get more creep spread. You don't have a lot of Widow Mines. In fact, GuMiho doesn't have any Widow Mines. He went pure bio, almost as if he had not used his factory at all, and that's not really going to work.
I love that little dance of units all explode away from the grenade, but all the medevacs were systematically targeted down by the mutas, not wasting a single shot at Marines, just letting Glavorm deal a bit of damage. But Rogue overextends off, creep has to pull back. Luckily for him, you know, he's going to be able to get out of here with most of the mutas intact. But he took a really good trade there. Even though GuMiho's got a lot of army units still coming on the ground, taking care of the medevacs in the sky takes away all the power from these units. These guys can't even afford to stim right now.
And he's got to be aware that there's been no Widow Mines except the first couple. You know, there weren't any we retreated into that his mutas had to be careful of. It was just pure bio.
Well, that's the other thing too, right? Like, he does have overseers, though. He's still playing it cautious as if he needed it. And that's what... Rogue's so good at being Zerg.
Although he's never got Overlord speed, so if there were Widow Mines, could have been a problem.
Maybe he's recognized that and knows he doesn't need it. I don't know. I love Rogue. I'm fanboying really hard right now. Just let me do it. I
guess technically you don't, as long as it's in a decent position. It just is like when it comes to chasing like he did, that's when it's a little suspicious. Or just using the mutas in an offensive manner, which he hasn't done so far, apparently for Burrowed Banelings. Because I don't think he needs the help of Burrowed Banelings. He's doing alright just with ones on the ground.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it wasn't burrowed, it was just Banelings chilling.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Bro's researching as we speak.
Just literally Banelings chilling. And to grab something.
Well, 5 bases and about half the map under his control. Rogue's feeling pretty good right now. The thing is, like, he really, aside from a couple of little, I guess, attacks at this base for the SCVs early, he also hasn't done that much damage to GuMiho. But we got to look at where the worker count sits, where the income's at right now. And a lot of this just speaks volumes of the fact that, like, if Rogue is doing this all while defending, like, GuMiho is the better. GuMiho's the guy in every situation I would assume wins a game, just because of the prowess he's had over the last half of a year. You look at GSL, you look at all the past Olimoleagues, you look at BTSLs. Like, GuMiho's got the chops where Rogue hasn't, but Rogue is manhandling GuMiho right now.
But GuMiho has the story, I suppose, where Rogue doesn't. Rogue hasn't had a good storyline for quite some time. He's building one now by participating in a lot of online events and making quite the splash at IEM, of course, but I still feel like a lot of people didn't give that tournament a lot of credit, which I think happens with a lot of the Chinese tournaments, to be honest. Like, no matter how good the production is or how good the player base is, it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's not the highlight tournament of the year for whatever reason. So obviously Rogue has been doing very well, not just like online, but individual, offline too. It still hasn't felt as much of a story as GuMiho was. GuMiho, 7 years in the making, GSL winner, absolutely stomped Sue. Like, that was, well, it felt historic, I suppose.
And spiky Banlings look like grinding wheels of death, rolling in like this. Rogue, by the way, may have taken a bad engagement there with the Banlings, so he's fallen back basically until he gets round 2 ready to go. Unleashes this from behind, though, falls around that back attack. Widow Mines don't even matter. Everything here gets absolutely destroyed, but Rogue still doesn't have control of the situation.
He was pretty cautious not to use the Banelings on Marauders, and he has backup Banelings, so they roll right into the Marines. The mutas and Lings can take out the Marauders, and the mutas can take out the Medevacs, and that is going to be it for GuMiho.
Round 3 is all it took. Rogue will take the first game in this best of 3. And we return to our lovely faces. What are we hawing about?
I don't know if it's lovely faces.
Excuse you?
I don't know what your face looks like, but...
Excuse you, my face is very fucking lovely, I'll have you know.
Okay, then.
And yours is too, Zombie Grub.
Not so much. No.
Oh, so I ran a poll after our cast yesterday, by the way. I'm not sure if you saw this. I made sure to specifically tag you in hopes that you would.
No, I don't remember. I mean, you tagged me with the Zeph thing, but...
Yeah, well, basically, I put, would you rather have beautiful breasts or practical pockets? And what surprises me is like, for the first, I want to say 2 hours of this poll, it was neck and neck. Like 50-50. All the girls on my newsfeed came out in full force to vote for pockets, right? But then, I guess while I was asleep, this thing tore away, and now it's 62% beautiful breasts, 38% practical pockets.
I feel like you're gonna have a lot more guys voting in that poll. I feel like they don't quite know.
But this is what I think is so interesting about it, right? And I bring this up not because it's like a call, well, partially because it's a callback to yesterday's stream. But the fact that this was 50-50 for a while kind of made me go like, yeah, there's definitely like a decent amount of girls voting on this because a lot of them are being vocal in replies. But then this poll overall has about half the votes as the average poll I run, which usually ends up with like between 300 and 400 type thing. So I find it really interesting that it's such a low turnout, but it was like a mostly female turnout initially, I guess.
Yeah, apparently they showed up in your mentions.
Yeah.
I guess there's these analytics that can actually show like not everyone puts their gender and whatever on Twitter, but I would be interested. I mean, I know there's definitely women out there who would have taken the more beautiful breasts too. Just it feels like the pocket
dude,
is
they all know
more,
the value of pockets.
Well, the pocket seems to be the more comical answer, anyways. The one that's like I think everyone expects to be chosen just for comedic effect.
Comedic gold. All right, well, we're getting into game number 2. We're spawning here in the top left side. We got the blue Zerg player, Rogue.
The bottom right, as the red Terran, GuMiho.
Now, GuMiho played Bio that last game, and I want to draw back to that for a moment. Before I do, though, just a general thank you to all the people who subbed. A lot of people subbed at the start of the game / that last one. We'll get a big shout-out list going between series when we get a bit of downtime here, guys. Just know that we love you. But GuMiho, right, so he's been leading the way and paving the way with mech in Korea, and really just the top of his game. Like, honestly, looks like he couldn't be touched at times. I don't think his choice to play Bio was one that he made willy-nilly, and I don't think it was something where he's just like, screw it, I'll do whatever I want because I'm so good. I think he did that on purpose versus Rogue, and I'm wondering if he's had trouble with his mech versus Rogue. Because as I said, Rogue is one of the few Zerg players who seems to actually figure things out in Korea rather than just relying on like decent macro.
These guys played like 8 hours ago, and Rogue did take the win over GuMiho, so that's probably the case. The GuMiho's hit a brick wall against this guy, and was trying to experiment a little bit. 2-on-1 is at this point in time officially kind of old. Maybe like 2 months ago, enough people are still using it that it was, you know, well and good, but since then it's been a lot more Hellion openers, Hellion Banshee. The quick third CC is talking about was kind of making a comeback for a lot of builds, and it was an attempted surprise build. It absolutely did not work though. I would say that it's too easily scoutable to be a surprise build, you know? Like, the 2-1-1 with the Hellbat mixed in is not that easily scoutable because by then the Zerg thinks they know what they need to know. But obviously you've seen like no Hellions. You're gonna get a little suspicious of the Zerg player. You're gonna be like, well, what should I be looking for? Marine count, you know, timings, 5 minutes. Rogue was totally on top of it.
Speaking of being on top of it, I still gotta go get a tweet about this on BaseTrade. Whoopsies!
Well, GuMiho is going for Hellions. Eventually, I guess. Maybe not. No. Oh, it's a Cyclone. Okay. Well, he is going for a Starport. I'm like wondering what's the add-on swap gonna be? He's still producing from the reactor barracks. I mean, if this was, no, I mean, not even really a anti-Protoss build.
I think it's really important they didn't show that Cyclone. A Cyclone is a really odd thing to see in a push like this versus Zerg, and I think that's gonna be,
Mech.
Well, if not mech, at least Hellions. If he's gonna double produce Cyclones, he just doesn't have the money for it.
Yeah. You saw the lack of add-on on the factory, and sometimes that happens. There's a bit of awkward timing.
That's a big scout. That's a really big scout. Rogue just poked in there for like a brief fraction of a second to see this.
Well, I still I'm like scratch my head. Like the Cyclone and a handful of Marines, 4 Marines, and 1 medevac. How much damage can it do?
I think this
I guess
actually has a
if
lot of
Rogue-
potential for damage, right? Like, that Cyclone can tear through units, just generally speaking.
Well-
Marines, we already know have the damage to deal with Queens, that's why they get paired up with a lot of these Hellbat attacks, but I think this push comes quick. The Hellions are fast to reinforce. And he just supply block Rogue.
Well, that does suck. I think that if Rogue was playing a bit greedier, and it's such an early stage of the game that he probably usually is playing just
Oh.
drones right now, this could do damage. But
That
any
Spore
amount of
Crawler
lings
is so
would trip this up.
sick. That chipped away so much of the medevac, and the Queen gets a little bit blocked out by everything, but still shuts this down. Huge snipe on that medevac, like massive kills right there.
Yeah, and he's quite aware that a follow-up Hellbat attack could happen, I suppose. This Baneley Nest does feel pretty cautious, but, it might just be necessary. There could be a Hellbat attack. An armory is on the way, and Hellions have been produced. Third base is building on location, which is going to be something GuMiho regrets, as the Lings just go on all over. Queens can handle the Hellions before they turn into Hellbats.
Yeah, well, he tries to roast up some drones. It's going to cost him a little bit back at home.
He didn't go for the cancel on the third base. Instead goes for Hellion kills. Hopefully he would have gotten both. The Hellions on the attack do just retreats. I guess the Queens did show up, or Ling should have. Both.
Well, regardless, he's got to get a lot more drone kills to make this worth as well. 11 SCVs died in the defense at home, and he still hasn't even cleaned this up yet.
He's still so lucky that the third base wasn't even stalled out. Like, that SCV is still building it. So, yeah,
one
12
link,
SCVs went
one link
down,
could have been
but-
segmented over. A small mistake from Rogue for sure.
I don't think he expected the Hellions to get as much done. Maybe he expected them to like wait a little while longer. Didn't realize they were already on the other side of the map because he had enough queens.
The attack was a dud, you say?
He had enough queens. They just weren't in position. So they let little too many drones go down.
What's it called when a bomb doesn't work?
A bad bomb detonation.
I reminds me like that liar scene is like trying to call the pen red was blue. And he's like, this is royal blue. If he catches these lings, that'd be really nice for him, of course. And to note, guys, like it is confirmed mech at this point. The extra factories, the upgrades, you name it, or rather the lack of upgrades, I guess you could say too. No, doesn't want to go for that late stim timing, but. I'm still excited to see this, even though it doesn't look like this is going to be that type of mech play out of GuMiho that I do love the most, where it's like the fast Thors and to like the speed medevacs boost them across the map. It's still going to be mech nonetheless, and I didn't even catch this. Rogue dropped Queens? What? He transfused his escape path out of there. This is so sick.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one of the powers behind the Queen drop.
This
Is that
feels
you
like
can
almost
transfuse your
trolling.
escape vehicle. A little bit.
Like,
I think
doing
it's
very real damage, but it feels like it's trolling. GG! Rogue knocks GuMiho out 2-0.
Yeah, easy peasy.
That's like, that was like, for me, I'm like, that's borderline BM, right? It's just like, oh, I'm so far ahead, I can just dick around with queens. Like,
Nah, it was funny to watch. I think that we see it a lot against people who go for Hellion Banshee, which GuMiho kind of was going to go for, and then decided not to. Yeah. But that wasn't the best series I've seen from GuMiho.
no, I would actually say that was quite a bad series, but again, it's against a player like Rogue, so this isn't like any disregard to, like, I don't think GuMiho's slipping. You just like, you played one of the best Zergs Korea has to offer. Like, I talked this guy up, and I'm a fanboy of Rogue, and for good reason.
Oh yeah, Rogue is definitely becoming one of my favorite Zergs. And he will advance on.
Well, I guess we'll take our first commercial break of the day. I really need some water, so this works out for me. Thank you, Rogue, for the quick 2-0. We'll see you guys in a couple minutes and get the next game going ASAP. Thanks for watching the Olimoleague.